just to rile you a little bit, I've eaten parasite-infested salmon that was undulating with pinworms. It was almost white. Had my feces checked for 10 weeks after. Blood test did not develop one parasite. I also did it with fluke worm-infested calf brain and also with chicken-infested tripe, which is the intestines. I did not develop any parasites. The concept that people are eating, that you can get parasites and bacterial poisoning from your raw meats, is not a fact. I've done laboratory tests with animals and was not able to produce the worms in those animals in any case. I've been not able to produce them in my own body. All your degenerative tissue that exists in your body attracts and creates and gestates worms if you are in need of them. One particular test I did where I used dogs and cats who were already fluke infested. Not all the same type of flukes, because finding them the same types and getting enough animals that already had them, so we didn't have to infuse them. So we were not able to distinguish whether they had, not able to put it in as many categories as say, here, these all had brain flukes, these all had intestinal flukes. So we just put them all together, but we had an equal number of cats, an equal number of dogs, and we had 3 groups. One of the groups, the first group, ate regular kibble and canned food. They got group A of 1 had pharmaceutical dewormers. Group 1B had homeopathic dewormers or herbal dewormers. Group 2 got all raw foods, raw meats, raw butter, raw eggs. These were cats and dogs. They were split up into 2 groups, pharmaceutical and herbal or homeopathic. Group 3 got no dewormers and just the raw foods. In group 1, A and B, 40 to 60% died, and those that recovered were pretty lethargic. In group 2, A and B, the reduction, who were on raw foods, the reduction of death was down from 10 to 25 to 30%. On group 3, there were no deaths. Group 3 took a lot longer to heal because they had to deal with the parasites. But when we finished the test after 6 months, they were all like puppies and kittens, even if they were 13 to 15 years old. After some of them died, we did, later over the years, we did autopsies on them and found that the tissues were quite renewed. So the only conclusion that we could come to was that the parasites fed on the degenerative tissue, and that because the raw meat was available for them to regenerate tissue quickly, there was no ulceration, which is the danger in parasites. The University of Toronto, in association with the Hospital for Sick Children of Toronto, has been using the Veritoxin produced by E. coli to completely dissolve brain tumors in a matter of 5 to 7 days, including the vessels going to it. Dr. Lowe at Yale has been doing the same thing with the toxin from salmonella, and actually the salmonella to eat up tumors. So you don't have to be afraid of bacteria.
There's no diseases. That's a myth. And you can easily prove that. Like, you go, okay, rheumatoid arthritis, right? That's a disease, right? A lot of people have. So what's the definition? Definition is somebody with swollen joints, sometimes bilaterally symmetrical, they're red, hot, swollen. And they have positive rheumatoid factor. That's an antibody which supposedly causes rheumatoid arthritis. So then the next person comes in, exact same symptoms. The test rheumatoid factor negative. What do they have? Rheumatoid factor negative rheumatoid arthritis. And I thought, you got to be kidding. That's like, I have this, it's like a little farm, and I have animals, and some of them are chickens and they have wings and go like this, and the others are four legs and they go meow. Those are non-feathered chickens, right? That's the kind of level of talking we're talking about. They're not non-feathered chickens, those are cats. Those people don't have rheumatoid arthritis. And by the way, there's never been a study published, and I'm 100% sure of this, that shows that rheumatoid factor, the antibody that we're told causes rheumatoid arthritis, actually causes anything. Nobody has ever injected rheumatoid factor into healthy animals or people and showed that it causes any problems at all. Never. And if somebody disagrees, they're going to have to show me that study, which means there is no such thing as an autoimmune disease. They made that up. So it depends on how you got there. So one of these people, maybe they had a deficient diet for their life. They never ate any like bone broth or anything with collagen in it. And so their joints are weak, and that's why they're having trouble. Another person, it's, an emotional traumatic experience, and that's why their knee hurts. It's all started then. And then there was the guy who, couldn't walk for 5 years. His legs were weak. So what happened? He was fine, playing on a soccer team, helping his dad's machine shop. Then he goes in and gets a flu shot. Week later, his legs are paralyzed, and he 5 years later still can't walk. What happened to him? He got poisoned by a flu shot. So those need all different treatments. The idea that you could treat them the same based on a diagnosis is ludicrous. So I can't say generic 60-year-old, here's what to do. But I can tell you there's basically, from what I've seen, 4 ways people get sick. So you can think of it like this and think of which ones. So number 1 is injury. Like you fall off a horse, break your leg. So that happens. Number 2 is you're starving. Food, water, love, shelter, security, lots of things, right? People are starving, and that causes troubles. A lot of that's food. Number 3, and maybe one of the biggest, well, there's only 4, but you're being poisoned. The main offenders are vaccines and pharmaceutical drugs. But there's a lot of other glyphosate, EMFs, there's a list as long as your arm. And the 4th and biggest, in my opinion, is you're delusional. And that means you think things that are nonsense. And when you think things that are nonsense, you do stuff that's ridiculous, and actions have consequences. Let me give you an example. I had a guy I knew is an anthroposophical doctor, supposedly holistic, but he believed in viruses, which are imaginary. We can get into that or not, but so because he believed in viruses, he spent his career treating AIDS people with HIV drugs because he believed there was such a thing as HIV and it caused AIDS, which is not true. So he was delusional. And then came COVID. And so because there was a virus that might kill him, he took 3 COVID shots. And after the 3rd one, 2 days later, dead in his bed from a blood clot stroke sort of thing. So why did he die? You could say he died from the shot, right, caused blood clots, or you could say he died because he believed in viruses. That's why he died. And then the shot was a normal consequence of that belief system, right? That's what you do. And then the shot had a consequence. So if you believe your heart is a pump and blocked arteries cause heart attacks and high blood pressure is genetic, and you have bronchitis because you were invaded by a bacteria or a virus, therefore you should stop it. You will do stuff that is inimical to your health and you will suffer the consequences.
So what about the immune system then? Because when you mentioned it the other day, this was one of the first times I've heard about this. So you believe that there is no such thing as an immune system. Could you just explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, well, if okay, so first we have to understand that the body doesn't do stupid things. The body doesn't have useless organs, it doesn't have useless functions. Everything is for a purpose. So I was thinking about this one day. Well, if there are no pathogens in the environment, if there's none of this stuff that we think there is, there's nothing to fight off. Like, what does the immune system do? It does not. There's nothing for it to do. Literally, it's the immune system is, so as we know it, is meant to fight off things. There's something to fight off. So there is no immune system. The reason why they can put stuff into you, and then you get increased amounts of white blood cells is because your body has to detox the poisons out of you. That's not your immune system building an immune response. It's your body removing the garbage. If you take an antibiotic, sometimes people will feel better from that. That's because your body was originally detoxing those toxins from your brain. That's why you had strep throat. But now what you're doing, you're putting a new toxin in your body that your body has to remove. So it's going to stop detoxing here. And instead, it's going to remove this antibiotic that you just put into you. So white blood cells, I believe, are a function of the lymphatic system, which is the main immune system. It's our prime detoxification pathway, I believe. And this is what Audrina says. When we clog our lymphatic system, we get very, very sick. So yeah, the immune system was made, in my opinion, to substantiate germ theory, because how else would you be able to promote this idea if there's no system to fight off viruses? So for example, they know that the medical system acknowledges that two people can be exposed to a certain virus, but one doesn't have to get sick. And the only way they could justify that was by saying that there is a system that fights off viruses, and people have different health in their immune systems. So a person who's immunocompromised is going to be way more likely to get sick than someone who's healthy. You can each be exposed to a virus, but only one's going to get sick. They needed the immune system to justify that. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense. So it's just totally made up, in my opinion, as an extension of the germ theory, which, of course, we know what it's there to do, and we know how bad it is, and we know how wrong it is.